They say power reveals character, but sometimes it exposes cruelty. This is the story of a woman everyone ignored, a man everyone feared, and a moment that changed both of their lives forever. A story about silence mistaken for weakness, about a cleaner no one bothered to learn the name of, and a boss who believed money placed him above the law. He thought he ended her life with a signature on a termination form. He had no idea he had just signed the beginning of his own downfall. Every morning at 5:12 a.m., before the elevators hummed and before the city woke up, Naomi Carter pushed her cleaning cart through the marble lobby of Hartwell Industries. She moved quietly, carefully, as if trying not to remind the world she existed. At 28 years old, Naomi was pregnant, exhausted, and invisible. Her uniform hung loose over her growing belly. She tied her apron tighter each week, hoping no one would notice. Rent was overdue. Medical bills stacked like threats. The baby's father had disappeared the moment the pregnancy test turned positive. So Naomi worked. She cleaned offices that paid more in a week than she earned in a year. She wiped fingerprints off glass desks she would never sit at. She listened to executives complain about bonuses while she rationed groceries. And every day at exactly 8 a.m., she watched Victor Hartwell arrive. CEO, millionaire, untouchable. Victor walked like the ground owed him respect. His suits were sharp, his eyes sharper, and his voice cold. He never greeted staff, never thanked anyone. Cleaners, guards, assistants, they were furniture to him. One morning, Naomi bent down to pick up trash near the executive wing when dizziness hit her hard. She grabbed the wall, breathing slowly. Victor noticed. He stopped, not with concern, with irritation. "You," he snapped, pointing. "Why are you standing around?" Naomi straightened quickly. "I'm sorry, sir. He cut her off with a look of disgust. His eyes dropped to her stomach. "Are you pregnant?" The hallway went quiet. "Yes, sir," Naomi answered softly. "But it doesn't affect my work." Victor scoffed. "We don't need liabilities here." That was the moment Naomi felt something shift. Not in the building, in her chest. Fear. Because she understood something very clearly. To Victor Hartwell, she wasn't a human being. She was a problem. And problems in his world got removed. 2 weeks later, Naomi was called into human resources. She already knew. Her supervisor wouldn't meet her eyes. The HR representative kept her voice professional, too professional. Due to performance concerns, the woman read, "Your position is being terminated effective immediately." Naomi stared at the paper. Performance concerns? She'd never missed a shift, never been late, never received a warning. "I don't understand," Naomi whispered. "I'm pregnant. Isn't that?" Victor's voice entered the room like a blade. "She's replaceable," he said calmly. "And I won't run a company that carries dead weight." Naomi looked at him, stunned. Dead weight. She felt her hands shake. "Sir, I just need time. I need this job." Victor leaned forward, eyes cold. "Then you should have made better life choices." Silence swallowed the room. Naomi signed nothing. She took the envelope with her final check, less than it should have been, and walked out carrying her cleaning bag like a coffin. Outside, the city roared on, uncaring. She sat on the bus bench and cried until she couldn't feel her face. That night, the eviction notice came. The next morning, her doctor warned her about stress. Naomi stood at the edge of despair, until someone did what Victor never expected. They listened. A janitor named Mrs. Dolores, who had worked there 30 years, pulled Naomi aside. "You don't know who you just angered," Dolores said softly. "But neither does he." She handed Naomi a card. An employment lawyer. And for the first time since being fired, hope flickered. The lawyer's office was small, modest, honest. He listened, carefully. "You were fired because you're pregnant," he said plainly. "And that's illegal." Naomi blinked. "But he's powerful." The lawyer smiled faintly. "So is the law." They filed the lawsuit quietly. No press, no noise. Victor Hartwell laughed when he received the notice. "A cleaner?" he scoffed. This will disappear. But lawsuits don't disappear. They dig. Emails surfaced. Comments. Complaints from other women quietly pushed out. Pregnant. Injured. Inconvenient. Depositions followed. Victor stumbled for the first time in his career. His board grew uneasy. Then the press caught wind. CEO accused of discriminating against pregnant worker. Stock prices dipped. Sponsors asked questions. Employees whispered. And Naomi? She stayed silent until the court date arrived. The courtroom was packed. Victor wore his best suit. Naomi wore borrowed maternity clothes. When Victor testified, he spoke confidently. She was terminated for performance issues. Then the lawyer stood. And these emails? He asked, displaying Victor's own words on a screen. Pregnant employees are a risk. Replace her before she becomes a problem. Victor froze. The room changed. Naomi's hands rested on her stomach as the judge read the verdict. Wrongful termination, discrimination, retaliation. The gavel struck. Victor Hartwell lost everything. Millions in damages. Forced resignation. Public disgrace. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed. Naomi said nothing. She didn't need to. Justice had spoken. Within months, Victor's empire collapsed. The board removed him. Partners withdrew. His name became poison. Meanwhile, Naomi gave birth to a healthy baby girl. The settlement paid her debts, secured her future. But she didn't stop there. She founded a foundation for workplace protections. Hired cleaners, guards, the invisible. She named it Second Chance. And the woman who once cleaned offices now owned one. One afternoon, Naomi walked into a corporate building for a meeting. A security guard opened the door. Good afternoon, ma'am. She smiled. Victor Hartwell was working nearby. Temporary contracts, no power, no respect. Their eyes met. He looked away. And in that moment, Naomi understood something powerful. He didn't lose everything because of a lawsuit. He lost everything because he forgot one truth. No one is beneath accountability. This story isn't just about a boss who fell. It's about what happens when silence finds a voice. When the underestimated stand up. When power finally answers to justice. Never mistake quiet for weakness. Never assume titles make you untouchable. Because sometimes, the person you step on is the one who ends your legacy. Subscribe for more powerful stories where justice always finds its way.